Today we're talking with Michel Copeland, who is a retired professor and economist from York University. Hi, Michel. Thank you so much for talking with us today. Can you introduce yourself first?
Well, I was born in Toronto, went to high school and university here in Toronto, University of Toronto, got a math degree, and then studied economics at MIT. And after that, started working. My first job was teaching in New York City at City College, and then came to York in 1968.
Can you talk about the first time you went to China and that experience?
I went in the fall of 1975. The Toronto Canadian China Society was the name of the Friendship Association then, organized the tour. There were 24 of us, and we went to Beijing, Shenyang, and Hong Kong. I was then drafted to be treasurer of the Friendship Association here. The National Federation of Canada-China Friendship Associations, the National Association. There were then about 17 local associations. I was treasurer and eventually president of that association, and that took me back to China several times on friendship tours hosted by the Chinese Association.
So I understand that after 1975, you went back many times, and what attracted you to go back?
I went back 18 times more. My second trip was in 1986, and it was basically a business trip on behalf of the Federation. And then in 93, when I was on sabbatical, I toured southern China, Nanjing, Haikou, Shenzhen, Guangzhou. And in the spring of 94, I taught for a full semester at Yantai University. I was doing English second language and what they call reading. I came back in 95, invited back. And this time I was teaching introductory economics and a little bit of international economics to students who'd just been admitted to the business school they created at Yantai University.
And how did you feel each time that you went to China, and have those feelings changed over time?
Oh, remember, I came in 75. Essentially no high rises. You would see an occasional car, no traffic jams, and the car you saw was an army jeep. And so, things have changed so much. I took some buses, not in Beijing, but in Nanjing, and the bus broke down. It was a tired old bus, and it should have been scrapped long ago. But that was in 93, and it's entirely different now. The transportation network is unbelievable. Now there's been a tremendous increase in people's freedom in China. More than 100 million people leave China every year to visit other countries. That didn't happen a whole long time ago. People are free to choose, their location, their home, and their job, and those things are happening, and those are very big changes.
So obviously you have had many personal experience in China. Do you think that there's a difference between the China we see in the media and the China that you personally experience? Is it different from what you see in the media?
Well, the China of the media is some of the time reacting to attacks on China from mainly the United States. So it doesn't do anything. It just makes relations worse, and it certainly doesn't clarify anything. I find a lot of the Chinese stuff, because it's defensive, reacting to the nonsense that's coming from the States, it's sort of overdone and not relaxed enough. The more recent stuff and the stuff, just talking about what we're doing in China is better and easier to accept.
And do you know Dr. Norman Bethune? And has he ever influenced your life in any way?
Well, my family belonged to the Canadian Communist Party when I was a kid. My father, an uncle of mine, actually chaired a meeting of Bethune's when he returned from Spain and then was thinking of going towards China. So, I mean, it hasn't influenced me personally, but sort of been around, and I certainly respect all that he did. He's one of the fathers of socialized medicine in Canada. There's a group of doctors and nurses and others in Montreal in the 30s who were advocating for socialized medicine. It didn't come till approximately 30 years later, but his influence was there.
So 2021 is the 100th founding year of the Chinese Communist Party. So what are your thoughts on the significance of this milestone?
The party has changed so much through those 100 years. China, in its modernization, initially was following paths others have taken. But China is now modern enough, so it's leading in various areas and will lead in other areas in the future. The future is almost unlimited.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us today and for some great, insightful answers you have. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.